¿Cómo puede estar muriéndose algo tan bello como esto? Una plaga azota la tierra, pero el árbol de la vida sigue en pie. La pregunta es, ¿durante cuánto tiempo más? El fin se acerca al nuevo mundo. Las tribus están divididas en busca de alguien lo suficientemente valeroso para unirlas o abatirlas. Es una historia con un inicio inusual y esperamos de ella un final inusual. Bienvenido a Biomutant.
Encode your DNA. Define your genetic structure. Choose a genetic resilience. Choose your first style. Pick your main color. Choose your detail color. Pick a class. Commando. Deadeye. Commando. Psy-Freak. Saboteur. Sentinel. Psy-Freak. Commando. Deadeye. Deadeye chosen. Sounds good. Here's somebody with a troubled past, drawn into the spotlight of a story that's already begun. We're already at a crossroads. Choosing a path in life is that fork in the road where you make a choice. But for you, it's not only a crossroad, but a choice. A reflection of your key, the primal energy that flows through everything.
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm the dark side of you. Your inner voice, to be precise. An echo of the balance and consequence of your actions as you move forward.
So glad you realize who you really are. Let's keep to the bright and better path.
You can't contradict yourself like that. You may...
Because you can't deny what's deep within your heart.
But remember, this is just the beginning of the end.
Right is always right. Stories of death and the bodies left behind, a reminder that we're at the mercy of nature and the one that preys on others. Do you remember the beast that shattered your family, or did you choose to forget? You turned your back on our world and got lost in your own. Meanwhile, the predator only grew stronger. better make a run for it. This is not the time nor place to end this story. This time, it was best to run and live to fight another day. Let us hope you're ready for it when it comes. The predator isn't the only threat. The wildlife started to mutate when the end of days began, and the tree of life started to die. Chop it up! Killed that one. The oil sludges everywhere. To most, it only means death, but some have adapted to the new environment and changed with it. Evolution has its ways. That's a good find. Wiser than ever. Look, an emergency box from the once was. A rare sight. That pipe looks weak. The claw bar should come in handy. Whoa! It's time to find a way out of this place. No, really, I mean it. The Morks produce biomatter in their multi-organ that they shed under distress, blobs that affect the cellular coding strands of any living being when absorbed, including you. Dead. Looks like you've got this. Toxanol built vessels called arks to save themselves from the impending doom. But was it too late? It is only from the flight logs of the single ark they left behind that we know other arks trapped. There are few records of the chain of events that led to the big apocalypse eons ago, but it's clear the world wasn't prepared for how recklessly the Toxanol Corporation would make its mark on the world. Their rare earth mining and nuclear industries generated tons of waste, and, without consideration for the future, they dumped it all in landfills until they ran out of space. That's when they made the big mistake. They began dumping the toxic waste in the surf just off the coast instead, assuming that it would sink and decay with time. And they were right. But no one was prepared for what was about to unfold. Once in the surf, the radiation interfered with the genetics of the wildlife and created bizarre mutations in their offspring. It had an inconceivable impact on biodiversity and the entire ecosystem. The world as they knew it crumbled as nature retaliated. It would never be the same again, and what remained of it became ours. The sound of spark metal going pew-pew is never a good thing. It's coming from behind that door. A warning label. The box looks like a potential brain melt. It's going to take a bit of puzzling to short-circuit the door. There you go. The wheeled one is outnumbered. You'd better help him out. Kaboom! That's the last of them. Let's talk to the wheeled one before backup arrives. Guess you still want more than that. He wants to thank you for taking his side against the scavengers. He sounds familiar. You just can't figure out why. He presents himself as out of date. He knows he's way overdue, but he hasn't given up. He doesn't seem surprised that you don't recognize him. You were just a child back then, the night everything changed. There have the legend of the one-eyed child that grew up as an outcast is old and sad. The child could have been anyone. But the evil it had fled had left a mark, a facial scar to remember the past. How Looper Lupin somehow left you alive after his raid on the old... There's no doubt you're the child, and that what Looper Lupin did to your village, He says it has taken you a long time to bring the past back up to the... It was after the attack that the unity fell apart. Your Muma's disciples After the old village was destroyed, had it not been... Asks if you are tired, as it's a bit of a hike here from the village. He wonders if your Muma knows you are here. You're such... The potato people, or Nono, are a wonder, somehow interlinked with this little tree here, fueling its... The Nono prefer to hide in... You found one. You should be proud. The Nono's key energy is just what the Ps5 needs to complete its cycle and grow into a tree of life. Only time will tell. You'll need to support the tree for a long... You'll need a net to catch the Nono, and he wants you to use his, but asks you to be gentle. You handle that net like... He's grateful for all the help he can get. There's lots of Nono out there that need to be guided to the... They're hiding in the... But... Now that you've seen the Nonno's connection with the tree with your... From this day on, he'll make nurturing the Ps5. One day, you can already... He says you'd better hurry back to the village before your Mooma comes looking for you. He lost you there for a while, but no memory is alone. It's part of a trail you can follow. He says he remembers every single day he devoted to growing the tree of life, but now he's afraid. The tree started to die when the end of days begun, and it wasn't long after that that the World Eaters arrived. Records tell of the ruinous devastation the Toxanol Corporation inflicted. His friend Gizmo is working on a Mekton and needs help defeating the Jumbo Puff at the end of the West Route. Wiz is still repairing his octopod to confront the Merc Puff that dwells deep down under the surface at the end of the Northwest Route. Nocco has tamed the Midget and is preparing to take on the Hoof Puff at the end of the East Route. Finally, Goop is almost done with the Goo Glide, a machine able to ride the waves of the surf all the way out to the Porky Puff at the end of the route to the southeast. Out of Date says his friends are gearing up to stop the World Eater. The road ahead won't be easy, but he's... Regardless, you're getting the hang of it. Quickest way out is through the roof where they came in, and the rope looks strong enough to climb. Get a grip. Know that the Tree of Life is dying. Its days are numbered. Without help, it can't endure the environmental change and assault from the World Eaters. A signpost maps it out for the cartographically challenged. Let's see. the World Eater that chewed off Out-of-Date's leg. You'll need a hat trick to bring that down. The World Eaters have made their marks on our world over time. That's not the first nor the last village it'll leave in its wake. Look, a survivor. Glad to see someone made it out alive. He's heard the stories about the terror inflicted. He worries there won't be much left to save. He doesn't. Anyway, he needs help and says it's by your actions you'll be.
That's a spark of light in you!
What's there to like about light? It hurts.
Not as much as it hurts to look at you.
Always making this.
And you're always trying to protect.
There's Out-of-Date again. He must have missed something important. Out of... The Jagni tribe is likely to be your primary... Regardless of who... The Myriad's conviction to stop the World Eaters began when the Leviathans rose from the depths of the surf. Siding with the Myriad's movement for wholeness in a fragmented world might seem like the logical thing to do, but is it the right thing? One thing's certain, though. Destiny arrives all the same. The Jagni tribe only ever had one conviction: to bring balance to the world by wiping out the weak. They believe a cleansing is necessary to restore the world and want to let the World Eaters bring down the Tree of Life. But siding with Jagni isn't necessarily a bad thing. Fate will find a way. Out-of-Date. He believes the tribe Sifus, Jagni especially, will listen to you and expects you to pay at least one of them a visit and play your part. In Jag... Regardless, you'll... New mutations to embrace. Another fork in the road. It's either the tunnel or the motor bridge. What'll it be? It's unusual that natural tunnels like this still exist. Most of them got flooded. Carving it up. Cutting edge. Got what he deserved. The fresh air has done you good. This area was beautiful before the tribe war began. Look at it now. It's a war zone. That's the Myriad Tribe's fortress. Will they be friends or foe? You should head up there. That way you'll know. Let's see. It's a beaten path to that door. If you go there, you'd better make an entrance. Says they're wary of strangers. They're at war. He can see you're a free spirit, so...
La fanen agin kan man. Geratna fal hutut mustugai la wute.
The Myriad tribe act on understanding of the greater good and a code of honor. They believe uniting the tribes is the only way to restore the peace. The Sifu is convinced that defeating the World Eaters and saving the Tree of Life is the only way to make the world a better place. He welcomes you to the Myriad Fort and introduces himself as the tribe's Sifu. But he was hoping you'd show up. The news of a vigilante Ronin on crusade crossing the Great Wall through the crack in Bunker 101 has preceded you. The wall that separates them from the other side? The wasteland you came from? He guesses the time He's convinced you've returned for a reason, and there's something about your spirit that sparks memories of... The Sifu says sometimes one memory can make another come to life. He hasn't thought about your... Your Muma invented Wang Fu. Originally, it consisted of unarmed combat and the 6 weapons. The Sifu says it's time to set the past aside, at least for now. Myriad wants unity between the tribes. Their goal says there has to be some dark so that light can prove its purity above it. He could only hope for you to... The Sifu was waiting for something to tip the balance in their favor, and with you by their side, he's confident you can unite the other tribes. The one you should... The Myriad... Their kin have run out of options and found themselves backed into a corner. Even though they might bring them war, he wants you to focus. These are the new rival outposts your tribe needs to take control of. He says you'll regret not being on their side. The only way you'll learn their secrets, Wung Fu and the tribe weapon now, is if you defeat him. And that will never happen. Even though you don't share their values, they hope you'll leave. Tells you not to be afraid. Your fate cannot be... Once you've dealt with the rival's outpost, they passed the point of no return as their words lost power. Seeing you brings back... Myriad wants unity between the tribes. That
Muka mulosada. Schleine furutna mika.
he remembers your kind.
Tankant. Jago thinking. Galata fole.
Anyway, the memories you make with your family are strong and can sometimes come to life. Passing the...
Kara moti. Tankant.
Even though it's now a different...
Saramoto.
You have things to do, places to go to.
Kara moti.
All things end. Better beware, that's a mump up ahead. They were hit hard by evolution, the wonky ones especially, deformed and unfurred. Half-lifed. Time is lost on this place, but it evokes a tingling sensation. There's something special about it, drawing you closer. Let's see. As time passes, memories fade, and sometimes feelings change. It's not about who you were, it's about who you'll become. This story is far from over. Echoes of a long-lost past like whispers in the wind. Here's someone who takes each day as it comes. He asks how you are today. Then he wants you to know that if you find yourself going through bad, he wonders where you've been. He hopes you've been out at the lake, practicing your swimming technique. Learning to swim can be scary when you don't know what you're doing. But fortunately, he thinks you should really know how to swim by now. And he'll... He says, that wasn't too bad, was it? At least you learned that you'll drown if... But you need practice. Lots of practice. Great things usually happen to them. You just need more time in the surf. That's the only way you'll ever learn how to swim. You can... Judging by your Mooma's look, it seems you forgot something. You promised you'd train with her before the sun goes down. It's time to go. You know you can't make... You should know. Practice makes perfect. You have to keep working on it if you... She'll see you at the village square. She says that's good. Here's another familiar face with lots on his mind. Asks how you're feeling today. His only interest when creating... He was hoping you could help him pick up some scrap for a thingamajig he's working on. You should look... He wonders what usefulness you found. He says every little thing. He can work wonders with almost anything and asks if you know how to upcycle. He says he'd love to teach you to upcycle. You did well, but he can't help but he believes he's looking forward. It looks like she's starting to lose her patience. You know she doesn't like waiting for you. She wants to see you on the village square right away. Then you've got a good excuse. You share a responsibility. She wants you to grow up and start thinking for yourself. You've always followed your own. They look determined. Better watch out. He asks you to stop right there and wonders where you think you're going. That makes him There's no way they'll let. He wants to know who you think you are. She asks if you're hurt. What happened? She says it's nice of you to consider them, but they have weapons. The most It's time to focus on your training now. You Here's someone close to heart, doing what he does best. Seeing you always puts a smile on your Popsy's face. He heard you help. He asks if you could help him too before you leave for training. He wishes that was true for your. He suggests you get going and find him. He's curious to see what you found. He's all for renewal. Think. The style might be too edgy for his taste, but you should take it with you. He thinks you should. She'll be proud of her. He's looking forward.
Mustiki muhka?
Your Muma says it's about time you got here.
Anora kapapom.
Hopes you're...
Kanyala no toro. Bendrine senema. Ruhemuktono. Puri kumbala mua.
But there's enough time left for repetition, and you need it. Training dummies don't hit.
Can't see.
Wants you to prove that with some practice. Your Muma says you did well today. She's so proud of you. That's all. You should go see him and find out what it is. You've deserved it. Says he's always... Catchy. Your Muma says she's never seen an apparatus as green as this little thing. It's wonderful. Figuring that out is... A piece of Scraptronics like this has built-in old... It's called an automaton, and it's hardwired to your DNA. It'll follow wherever you go. You're lucky to... Your Muma says you look tired. No wonder. It's been a long day. She's so happy you made... Rest, and you'll find strength for tomorrow. Nothing could stop Lupa Lupin from setting the world on fire. Your Muma urges you to blaze a trail. A burnt kidling will learn to dread fire. That's just adding fuel to the flames. Give it a last burst and you'll make it. Your Muma says this is it. The time has come. She must fight Lupa Lupin. This time there's no escape. She can hear him coming. Whatever happens, she tells you to stay back. This is... She loves how... Here it comes. The past coming to haunt the present. You must go through fire and water to make it out of here. Your Muma says you can make it if you believe in it. Where she goes, you go. Blood is thicker than water. You're in deep surf. Don't make waves. The surf goes where it wants to go. It'll take you to the shore as long as you go with the flow. Death is not to be feared by one who has lived life with a pure heart. A part of her will live on in you. The creature is hungry for more. Nothing is going to stand in its way now. If a sacrifice is made for someone else, it's not lost, but passed on to the next. Life must go on. Real sacrifice comes from love and necessity when all other options are exhausted. The ultimate test of conscience is the willingness to give up anything to save what you truly care about. What you do for yourself dies with you. What you do for your kin remains and makes you immortal in their memory. As the moment fades and is lost, the only thing that remains is loneliness. It doesn't mean you'll forget your past. It simply means you need to move on.